What's going on, everybody? So I just want to give another update. I did my first video telling you what I was going to do with the camper, what my plan was, kind of what my design idea was. And today I want to show you what I've actually accomplished so far. Since my last video, I've actually done quite a bit. I haven't updated my YouTube as much as I wanted to, but I have taken a lot of pictures, which I will share. One of the things I wanted to share with you is the paint job that I did on the cabinets. Now, these cabinets were this old 90s wood color with like this plastic trim around the sides and this gold wooden trim around the sides of the shelves, which looked really nice in the 90s. Now, not so much. We're not really into that kind of stuff. So what I did was I ended up taking all my cabinets, most of the cabinets, I took them out of the camper, painted them a flat white. Right now this is 3 coats, so we did 3 coats on it. Did 3 coats on the cabinets, which I removed all the hardware, and so far it's turned out pretty good. I do have cabinets in the camper right now that I've actually finished. I actually put a polyurethane over the sides over the top of it and the sides. That way it just gives it a little bit more protection because it is a camper. It's going to get worn down, but my thought was that if I could protect the paint, then I'll do it. So I ended up using a oil-based polyurethane. I got it around here somewhere. Hold on. Now these cabinets here don't have this on it yet, but this is what I used. I used the Minwax polyurethane fast drying clear satin. Now this is an oil-based one. What I found out with the oil base is that you'll get a little bit of yellow once you're done using it, and it doesn't make a big difference. I think it actually looks okay. Some other people might like the bright white, but the yellow does have a yellow tint to it. If you wanted to avoid the yellow tint, from what I found out, you can do the water-based polyurethane, which takes longer to dry, but doesn't give you a yellow tint. So, but this is what I've gotten to so far. You know, we're going with the flat white, like I said. With my hardware, you can see my hardware, it used to be a gold, and I just basically cleaned it up with some CLR, and then I sanded it lightly, and I painted it with like this shimmering silver color, which actually looks pretty good in the camper. Like I said, some of the other cabinets are already done. You can see what the gold color was on the other side of this, and that's what it looks like now. I don't think I'll have a problem with it fading or anything like that. Seems like it's pretty sturdy. So, like I said, this was just a spray paint. I ended up using this here. There's a Krylon dual Super Bond paint and primer. And all I did was paint the hardware with that. Gave maybe 3 coats, I think I did with this. And like I said, it looks pretty good so far. What's up, guys? So, something I found out recently, and wish I knew this before. Shame on me for not doing my due diligence, but you got this gold trim here. See this gold trim? And I ended up just painting over it.
Daddy, why got something?
I know. Oop.
I see you.
I ended up painting over it. What I just realized is that I'm pretty sure this just pops up.
Oh.
Just like that.
Just like that?
So on this cabinet, I can actually take it off.
And you did do that.
And there goes my ugly gold and wood trim. Lesson learned. I can peel it off. I don't think it's too late on this cabinet because it's just paint. However, the ones I did in the trailer have polyurethane on it, so that's going to be a little bit more complicated. My plan, I think, is to wrap it with some sort of marble wrap. Alright, so now we're inside the camper. I want to show you what I've done so far inside of here. Like I said before, I painted the cabinets, which I'll show you the polyurethane. So my cabinets that were in the garage had a bright white to them. These ones, a little bit more yellow. And I probably should do another coat of the polyurethane on, just because I can see some spots where it's coming through a little bit. But just so you can see, there's the polyurethane. You can see right here it looks a little bit whiter. and up here, so I have to do probably another coat before I sand it down a little bit more. But it does add a little bit more of a yellow tint to it, so keep that in mind. If you end up using the polyurethane, which is a great protector, you're going to get a small yellow tint to it. So that is what we are at with the paint. Now, what I really wanted to show you was my flooring, and I can show you what we did so far. Don't mind the kids, they're helping me. This is what we have for flooring. It's the wood imitating planks that you can buy at Lowe's. They are a peel and stick, very easy to use. All right, I'll share some photos of the process which I did that, but just to give you kind of idea of what you're dealing with this stuff, this is what the planks look like. Comes in a box. I think I ended up using maybe a box and a half, not even, to do my floors. And you'll have the arrows in the back here. Tells you which way the grains are going on the actual wood. That's mostly for your patterns. So when you're laying it, you want to make sure all your arrows are pointing in the same direction. Doesn't matter what direction you point them in, but they have to be in the same direction. That way, all your grains will line up and they'll look good. If you have like one or two pieces that maybe aren't lined up right, or they're pointed the other way, it's going to stand out a little bit. So keep that in mind when you're doing these. And as far as the use, you cut it, but you can cut with a razor knife. If you want, maybe use like a paper template for your corners or your cuts that you have to do. But this essentially just cuts with a razor knife. You bend it in half, it's going to snap right in a straight line. You peel off the paper, stick it on the floor, and then I just stomped on it, but you're supposed to use like a roller, basically. You're supposed to use some sort of weight to get it to stick to the floors. I had no issues. So I just stomped on it. Floor looks good. I'm going to be covering up my edges with a piece of trim, which I'll show you my trim here. So I'll show you my dinette right here. And before it had no trim, but I'm a really lousy cut. So what I did was I bought this trim, again from Lowe's, and it just so happened to match the pattern identically. And I'm using that along all my edges. I'm still working on it. I gotta go buy some more supplies, but you can see how it covers up the edges here. And I'm gonna basically use it throughout the camper. You know, I got some spots down here where I might have a little bit of a gap. Over by my little cubby hole, I didn't do a great job of lining those up. Plus that corner looks kind of lousy, which I'm hoping that the trim will actually hold that in a little bit better. And we're just gonna go all the way around. Some of my edges look pretty good, some of them not so much. Over here is where I removed the cabinets. I was hoping to hide most of my cuts on those ends so that if I did mess it up, you wouldn't be able to see it anyways. So, but that's the floor. Like I said, very easy. Some things you want to keep in mind when you're using the flooring. You need to have a very clean surface. All right, so sweep it up. I had to peel up the linoleum. Some of the linoleum ended up sticking onto the floor. I used a scrape as much as I could, and whatever else I couldn't get off, I sanded it down. And that's basically what I did. Some people will tell you that you need to use an adhesive with the self-stick. I didn't use it. We'll see how it holds up, but you know, like I said, we're looking to upgrade this camper on a budget. We're not looking to spend a ton of money. And also, I kind of like the idea that if one of the planks for some reason needs to be replaced, I can just peel it up easily and put another one down. I got probably like 8 or 10 planks left out of the box that I had. So that's a plus for me. I'll keep that in the camper. If something peels up, I'll replace it, period. So clean surfaces. You can use adhesive if you want to. Easy to cut with a razor knife. Use a template out of paper if you want to make sure the corners and everything are really good. And then whatever mess ups you have, try to find some trim that will match up to it. I got lucky. The trim that I bought matches the floor perfectly. Win-win. So that's the flooring. Oh man, what was my other ones? So we did the painting. Oh, we wrapped the cushions. So I'll share a picture of what the cushions looked like before. My video before had them too, but these are our cushions now. And this is just a duck cloth. I bought it at Joann Fabrics. I ended up using, I think, 6 yards to do these 4 cushions. And there's another cushion over here which I used to wrap it. Very simple material, fairly durable. And I lucked out with this too, because this actually ended up matching my canvas perfectly, which was not intended, but I'll show you in a second. But I ended up using the same material to patch my canvas. Now, it's not the same canvas that the manufacturer used, but the color is almost identical, and I think I can make it waterproof, but with some spray. So I'm hoping that's going to hold up until I get a new canvas. But for the cushions, simple folds, staple gun, the plywood that it came with, done. That took me maybe an hour to wrap all that stuff. It turned out pretty well. We got some pillows that are being thrown on the floor right now, Mason, that I think complement the fabric very well. We also did our curtains. These are home seamed kind of curtains that I bought. I bought the fabric, made the curtains myself, basically using the old curtains as a template. I don't sew. I don't like sewing, never learned how to do it, don't have a sewing machine, so in order to save some money, instead of going to a seamstress, I went to Joann Fabrics, bought some of this clear seam stuff that you can buy. It's an iron-on, and basically what I did was I seamed all my curtains with it. Turned out pretty good. These are my seams. As you can see, well, there's my line from cutting it, but these seams stick pretty well. Let me get a better view of that. They stick pretty well. They're not complicated, you just iron them on. And I was able to do most of the curtains using this fabric that I picked out. It was on clearance, so I didn't spend a lot of money for it. Bought the seam tape, which worked really good. Still have a little bit of work to do, maybe some ties and stuff. The hooks up here, all campuses have different types of hooks. I'll show you the hook that we have. It's this little plastic clip-on one. The original ones were sewn on. They were like cross-stitched on there. I used hot glue. They fall, but you know, I don't sew. I'm not going to sew through plastic, and it works right now. So we'll see how it holds up. I did my curtains over here as well. You will be able to point out the mistake that I made. Oh, maybe my hot glue isn't working. But my other mistake that I made, they're too short. I ran out of fabric. I tried to make them with the fabric that I had. Basically what I'm going to end up doing is I'm just going to seam another piece of fabric onto the bottom of this. So you'll have a middle seam there, but I think it'll look fine. I'll do the other side to match. No harm, no foul. So that's what we have done so far. We did a little bit of spray painting down on the side here. This is just a gray spray paint that I bought from Home Depot or from Lowe's, wherever I was at the time. It's a flat gray. We just wanted to kind of match the cushions, match the bedding, match the camper itself. And again, the old stuff was like a spotted white color. You can see the difference right here. That's the old color. Kind of shows a lot of dirt, shows its age. Again, great in the 90s, not great now. So we spray painted where we had to do that. And now the next step is that I'm going to finish up painting my cabinets. As you can see, I got one more to do here. This is the toilet, which I did not want to mess with. We're taking all the plumbing out, so I left it in here. I'm going to paint it inside the camper. This time, I'm going to remove that trim though, because that trim is ugly. It's probably not going to work with the paint, and I can buy new stuff on Amazon that'll match everything else I was doing. So that's where we're at. I'll keep you guys updated, share some photos. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to keep on following my posts. This is something new to me, so forgive me if it's choppy or not enough information. But any questions, you guys can feel free to ask on either my YouTubes, under the comment section, or my Facebook. You'll find me all over the place. My name's Tom Labo. So Tom Labo signing off. Alright, so this is a unexpected video. So I was repainting my cabinets, I didn't like the yellow tint I was talking about earlier with the polyurethane. So I sanded them down a little bit, and I've been painting them, and I come across a stain on my brand new floor. So where did the stain come from? Well, I just finished hunting that down and fixing that, but this is what I was looking at. So I put down all this nice floor, right? And I came over here to my dinette, and I saw a little brown white spot on top of the tile right around here. So I'm like, what the heck is that? So I rip up the tile. It comes up easily. This is the tile after I pulled it up. As you can see, the adhesive came in contact with water, it looks like. So I was like, all right, well, either somebody spilled something into the camper already, or I'm getting water leaking into my camper. Now this is a pop-out dinette set, so keep that in mind. So I have the AC running. All my water, I noticed, runs down towards that side. And then what I did was I went out here. All right, and I came over to these corners. Now, on my AC system, for some reason, probably because I don't have it leveled properly right now, all the water's running down here, comes down this seam, down to this little corner right here. And a little bit happens on the other corner. So what I did, I came out here, and I noticed this was full of all black old caulking. I've already recaulked it with some of the stuff I use, but this was basically rotted away, and water was infiltrating into the side of it here. And actually, I should have showed you on the inside, but I don't know if you can see that or not. And there goes the water again. If you see the bottom of the cabinets there, you can see that there's actually been some water damage prior to me buying this. So I should have done my due diligence. Should have looked for the water damage. Didn't look for it. Now I'm paying for it. So same thing on this side. You had the old caulking. I scraped it all out. I put in this clear caulking. This stuff's waterproof as soon as it's right away. Basically, just as soon as you use it, it becomes waterproof. So I did that. Went down these seams while I was out here. Went around the rivets. Went along this seam here, and so now it's all sealed up. You can see all the water though dripping down. That's just from my AC running. I don't know if you can see it come down that seam or not, but it's dripping. It goes right to that corner. So that is where my water was coming from, and ruined my floor that I just put down. Hopefully with some new adhesive, I can just reuse those tiles, or I can put new ones on. I still have some left over. But the caulking that I use, and I love this stuff. I use it for my, I use it to patch my holes on my canvas, where you see these holes here, right? I use this stuff. Tough elastic sealing, Lexel. It's backwards, but it is what it is. Lexel is the stuff it's called. They bought it at Lowe's. It's kind of expensive, goes on clear. Stuff is really, really tacky. I recommend using gloves if you do use it. Don't do like I do and just use your bare hands and then have to scrub your hands later on. But yeah, so now I thought I was done with my floor. Now I got this.